Oh yeah. It's been so long. You thought I left you, but I was in jail with my nephew. I needed that bail, so I kept you. I bet you thought I let you take my name, my game, and making that money my thing. You got to understand that my life is the man.
Alright, check it out, guys. Here you got the original cover for National Lampoon's Vacation, one of the greatest movies also of all time. You got his wife grabbing his leg here with the animals attacking them. Same thing. Got the chick grabbing the leg. And Carl holding a sword. The way he's standing is like Chevy Chase holding the tennis racket. And they're both paintings and they have the same style to them. You know? Look at that. Now you know. Pretty cool. And, they're both in like a desert. Pretty neat, huh? But Chevy Chase has got nothing on the Aqua Teens, let me tell you. So this is not season 5, even though it says season 5. That is not true. I explained that already. I love the cover, though. All they had to do is not write season. I mean, really? Was that so hard, guys? Fucking idiots. So, episode 1, Dirtfoot. Classic. We all love this one. It's hilarious. That's with the well and everything. With Boost Mobile is one of my favorite episodes of all time. So many fond memories of watching that episode with my friends. I love that episode. It's just, that's a contender for probably the funniest episode of the season. That's a masterpiece. Every time I say masterpiece, these are the best episodes. Every time I say that phrase. So I'm one of the biggest Aqua Teen fans out there, okay? And I'm going to prove it to you guys in this video. Like I said in other videos, I don't care if this is 40 hours long. Aqua Teen's important. We got to talk about this shit. The third episode. Look, this episode, Dickisode, like it was funny. Like it had its moments, but I honestly felt like it was disturbing to me. Like, it was too disturbing. Like, it was unentertaining how disturbing it was. And it wasn't as funny as the creators thought it was. Like, I know there's people that love this episode for some reason, but it's just way too sadistic for me. Yes, it has lines in it that are a little bit funny, but I think it's honestly one of the worst episodes of the series. The joke is just way too cheap. And this is Aqua Teen. We're not out here making cheap jokes. Like, even though people think probably that there's a lot of cheap jokes in Aqua Teen, this is not so. There's a lot of excellent comedic timing with the characters. A lot of really thought through humor, the way they wrote it. Number 4, Ham Banana. The most controversial episode ever, and probably one of the most controversial episodes in television history. It's a classic, and it is funny, but I think it's one of the first examples where there's jokes about rape in pop culture, and it was actually really incredibly disturbing the first time I watched it. But the more I watched it with my friends, I started getting into it, and I realized that it is funny. Like, it's a classic episode, but yeah, I'll just take it with a grain of salt. It was cool that they brought Ham Banana back, though. But another thing I want to briefly say is that I love the concept of Shake's hand coming to life and becoming a dog. It was really interesting, and they could have done something really funny with it, but then they did that. I'd much rather have them, like, come on, couldn't they just have the dog character as Shake's hand do something else in the concept of that episode? Why did it have to be that? Come on, guys, damn it. Number 5, Party All the Time. Contender for one of the best episodes ever. This is when Frylock gets cancer, and it's with Andrew WK, and he sings the party song, and they're walking by. Hysterical. Number 6, Bart Oates. Bart Oates! The chicks in the menu sing the songs when you click the episodes, if you guys remember this DVD here. Bart Oates is an amazing episode. I think this is the one where the football player haunts Carl from the dead, and Carl visits the grave of the old person he killed in a car crash, and he's like, I wasn't waving you on, I was flipping you off. Look, I'm sorry you're dead. I'm sorry I hit you, alright? You were old, I could tell. Yeah, so, number 7, Global Grilling. I love this episode. This is what Shake buys the grill, and the whole world is being grilled, and it's got the snot monsters in it. I just loved it. It was so damn funny. Number 8, Grim Reaper Gutters. This is another masterpiece. I think it has the porn star Tara Patrick in it or something, and Grim Reaper wants to do the gutters and everything. It's just really funny. Number 9, Moonawana. It's another episode with the Moonanites, which is odd because the last episode they were in was called The Final Mooning. So I guess that isn't true because they return again in this episode where they trick the boys into thinking they're smoking weed so that they can try to steal shit in their house. A really funny episode. I loved it. Number 10, Ezekiel. This is with Shake's son, which is kind of odd because we know Shake has never had sex before, which is explained in a different episode. This is a masterpiece, Ezekiel. We all love this episode. We've all quoted it. I mean, all the Aqua Teen fans have. It's just too funny. There's too many funny moments. And it also has the chess dragon in it at the end, which is really funny. Number 11, Antenna. This is the one where you got the aliens moving the boxes and tilt your head back, Carl. Tilt your head back. And Carl's like, I think it's coming out my eye. It was a really funny episode. It has George Lowe in it, climbing the tower, who was the original voice of Space Ghost. Love that episode. Carl Wash. This is where the brain called Carl from Space Ghost Coast to Coast returns to meet Carl in the Carl Wash. We're both Carl. Neat. Great episode. Really creative. I loved it. Episode 13 and 14, Star-Studded Christmas Spectacular Part 1 and 2. These are episodes that feature a deleted movie of the original Aqua Teen movie. And they show what the original Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie was going to be. And it's amazing. And even though they didn't go through with this original idea, it still would have been funny, actually, if that was the final movie. But I'm so glad they changed it to what the original movie became, because what they did with this movie was way better. But the whole thing with Carl sticking the broomstick up his ass and the Moonanites and all the lines they said where they have the giant car and man, I love that. I love these two episodes. And at the final moment of the season, Carl blows off Shake's face with a shotgun. Special features, there's quite a lot of them. Oh, the worst game ever. A good thing I read this because, like I said earlier, I wish there was more Aqua Teen video games. And, like, this is the official Aqua Teen video game, okay? In this game, it's a great game. It's 3D, and it's a golf game. And there's a lot of action in it. So you fight enemies as you make your way to the ball after you hit the golf ball. And a lot of the levels are based off of stuff that happens in Aqua Teen, and you fight the villains from the show and everything. Great game. And there's a lot of jokes in this game where Shake is golfing that I noticed were reused in like season 6, I think, where Shake was golfing and he whacks Meatwad's eyeball off. You know, once they came out with this, I rejected it at the time because I felt like there was going to be all these jokes in this that weren't from the show, that like this game was going to have original jokes, and I rejected it at first because I felt, you know, I feel serious about Aqua Teen, as you can tell from this video. The reason I rejected it at first was because I was like, oh no, they're wasting new jokes for the game, jokes that we could get in the episodes. So that bothered me because I noticed that's what happened with The Simpsons. Back in the day, like in the 90s and the 2000s, when The Simpsons was still great, they started coming out with a million Simpsons video games and comics, right? Which were great, but at what cost, guys? Because there were all these jokes that were only in the Simpsons comics and the Simpsons video games that weren't used in the show. So at what cost? Because if you give away jokes, it's like these writers, you know, they run out of jokes and they got to think of new ones. And if you're going to use the best jokes, if you're going to use a lot of great jokes for the other products like the games and the comics and whatever, then you're neglecting the show a little bit. So I was glad to see that they reused some of the jokes in this game in like the season 6 episode where Shake is golfing in the house. Love this game, and I wish there was more Aqua Teen video games. And I even though I'm contradicting myself, as long as the jokes are reused, then I'm fine. Or they can reuse the old jokes, whatever. But technically, there is another Aqua Teen video game, if you want to get technical, I guess. The worst game ever is on this DVD, which I think was originally a web game on the internet. And it really is the worst game ever, which is pretty funny, I guess. It's a pink background that's blank, and a Shake and Meatwad just keep walking forward, and there's nothing to do. Yeah, so is that a game? I guess. So you use the DVD remote to play it. All you have to do is go right, which is pretty interesting. I guess it's kind of funny. Let's check inside my DVD, guys. This Aqua Teen DVD came with stickers. I forgot what I covered up here. I covered it up because I thought it was disgusting. So that's why I put all the stickers here. Bart Oates. It was cool they came with all the stickers, you know. Here's the episodes. We already talked about them. Oh, baby, you've been stung by a bee. I know. There's Andrew WK in the background. The chess dragon. KK22. Do for LT, Carl. Do for tuna. Are you serious? You mean I freaking made you get like knee surgery by saying that? Yes, in a way, Carl. Yes, you did. I mean, that's so awesome! I mean, I'm sorry in retrospect, but that was so cool I was able to do that! What I love about this is here you can see Ignignot, and he's wearing a turban and a beard, which is supposed to be a parody of Osama bin Laden when he was hiding in the caves after 9/11, because the Moonanites, they joked around that the Moonanites were terrorists hiding in a cave in one episode because of the Boston episode, I think, that was controversial. No, it wasn't that. No, it was the neon signs for the Aqua Teen movie. Remember that? They had the neon signs for Ignignot and for the Aqua Teen movie, and people were shooting them down, and on the news they thought they were bombs from terrorists, and it was just a promotion for the Aqua Teen movie. So for a little while after the movie, Ignignot and did not appear in the series, and I think in this episode or whatever, in this season or whatever, Ignignot and appear in a cave. At least that's what I remember. Is somewhere here. Here is a terrorist. But after this little window of time, they do bring them back after the whole controversy thing. You got these weird discs here. They're just trying to be creative. Inside this thing is just a stomach, and it's fucking disgusting. I get it when they're trying to be funny, but when something's just disgusting, it's just disgusting. It's not funny. You know what I mean? I don't like it when they do that. Like this is when they started, the disgusting humor started creeping in to Aqua Teen, where in the classic episodes it wasn't there for the most part, and that's what made it better in the old episodes. But this is the beginning where it started to get a little weird, way too disgusting and unfunny. But this is still a great season. It could be the greatest. It could be the last great season, maybe. All right. Anyway, let's keep going. Aqua Teen Hunger Force 6. So they realized the mistake they did from the last season by calling it Season 5 when it wasn't Season 5. So they corrected that mistake by just calling it 6. So it's like they knew they made a mistake, and I like this cover. It's like being artsy, you know. And this one also came with stickers too. Let me show you guys where I put the stickers, because I wanted to do something really cool with them. Put them above the house. I set this up. Pretty cool, right? Because we know Shake uses the sword. That's kind of like a throwback to the Highlander episode. You got the ship, meet Wad with his boombox. Everybody likes dancing, Frylock. Carl's house. I love these discs, but it's a little confusing, the fact that they don't have numbers on them. A little bit irritating, but still cool. Maybe they could have just put a 1 or 2 on them, but still. Have you ever owned a DVD set that did this? I haven't. This is the only one I can think of. So the episodes, right? Robots Everywhere. This is the first episode with Paul, and I think this is the first episode with Markula. Okay, this is the Markula trilogy. There was 3 episodes in season 6 when it began with Markula and the frickin' they were stuck in the cave in Alcatraz or something, and they were having a federal dispute about the because Markula was the landlord. Markula is one of the great Aqua Teen characters, and I wish they did more with him, because when they finally did bring him back in some of the new stuff, they brought him back in Plantasim. He was okay. He wasn't as funny as he used to be. But you watch the classic episodes with Markula, and everything he says is fucking hysterical. The way he yells at them, and he's oh man, you gotta love Markula. No, Couple Skate, I'm sorry. That's the episode I'm talking about with Paul and Markula. Couple Skate. Robots Everywhere is with the robots destroying Carl's house. See, I corrected myself. I'm sorry. That's hilarious. The robots are talking about they're craving water and everything, and Carl shoots them with the bullets, and the whole thing with the donut on his head, and the flies to ring the bell when the flies come and everything. Yes. Sirens, ridiculous. Hoppy Bunny. Hoppy Bunny is disturbing, but sure, it's funny. But the one with shaking the laser eyes, that's a great episode where Shake takes out Frylock's contact lenses and it allows him to shoot Frylock's lasers. That's a great episode. Dummy Love, that's when the kill. Die! I joined the Marines. You what? I joined the Marines. That's a great episode. Memorable. I think this is the one with Frylock gets kidnapped by the guy in Canada or whatever. Bible Fruit, that's what I was talking about earlier. I gotta love this episode, Bible Fruit. It's too funny. There's too many funny lines in that episode that is so memorable. I do wish they brought back the Bible Fruit and had them talk in another episode, because they did actually have a cameo, and I think the one where Shake makes a Christmas rap, and in the first scene of that episode, they're in church, and you see the Bible Fruits praying in the pews. Gene E. Gigay. That's where the genie turns Carl Mini. This is there's 3 episodes where I'm pretty sure there's 3 episodes where Carl turns Mini. The first episode is with the shrink ray, which is hilarious, where he's like, fight for the mountain! Ah, frickin' take it, it's right over there. Gene E, Carl turns Mini, and then one of the final episodes in the last season, when Carl controls the bees, he's also Mini in that. So there's 3 episodes where Carl turns Mini. And just to hear his voice being all squeaky is fucking hysterical. Shake Like Me, yeah, She Creature, Chick Magnet's great. So, really great stuff here. But I think we can all agree that season 6 was when things started to go a little bit south. I was saying that about season 5, but then 6 is kind of like part 2 of season 5, where they started. I hated when they went widescreen also. That pissed me off at the time because I'm old school and I don't like the letterbox. I don't like it's like a box format. I don't like the widescreen. Fuck that shit. We're talking about classic television. You guys see, I still own the old TVs. I like the old TVs. I don't like the new ones. I know I have a new one right here, but this is just for like certain things. All right. Still, great season though. Season 7. Right now, it's less funny. It's a good cover, this cover. You got the 7 here, Carl's sweat, which is disgusting. But I do like the gold chain, pretty cool. All right, let's see. Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is the other episode where you got the guy who's like the tooth guy stealing the Aqua Teen's tooth. And this also has Gary the Dairy Fairy with more milks and cheeses. Good episode, classic episode. The Time Machine. This is the other one I mentioned earlier. This is when the Time Machine one, the second one. This episode kind of sucks. I don't know. It has its moments. I'll say that. It has its moments. But it's not. 2.5. Man, this title blows. This title, the Star Wars title, this is where they had this guy who was like a parody of Chewbacca, and Frylock has a lightsaber in it, and I don't know. The episode had its moments that were a little bit funny, but I thought this one was actually pretty bad. But again, it kind of had its moments. But for me, for them to do a Star Wars episode, and this is what they came up with, are you kidding me, guys? Fry Legs. This is one of the greatest episodes. So it's a highlight of this, whatever season number this is, where Frylock tries to date human women, and he creates like these giant legs, and he gets into the argument with the guy in the restaurant, and the guy's like, later, tater. How you like my Ray? Ray! It's a great episode. It's so funny and disturbing, and the cops are funny in it too when they interrogate Shake and Meatwad, where they pepper spray them. You got this episode here, which Inflatable Fuhrer. I don't like this episode. I don't think it's funny. They turn Hitler into a balloon, and Frylock has this really disturbing and disgusting toxic balloon idea with science or some stupid shit. And I didn't think it was funny. It was just trying to be controversial. It's like, fuck that. It's like, get out of here with that shit. They would like never do that in the classic episodes. The last one, Forever and Ever. I think this is the live action episode, I think. And it was the live action episode they did was disappointing, right, guys? Because we wanted it to be literally live action Aqua Teen. But instead they made some creative changes where it really wasn't what we wanted. Where like we don't want to see Meatwad as a stress ball or a workout ball. We want him to be like a big thing of meat. We want Frylock to be a floating box of French fries, and instead Frylock was frickin' T-Pain. And the only thing they did right in that episode for what we wanted was having Carl be live action. But the episode was still hilarious. It's great because of how funny it was. It was so damn funny. But still, it was still disappointing. And even today, they could still make a live action Aqua Teen movie. And since the humor is getting harder to write because Aqua Teens is so old now, maybe they can frickin' just remake, just have the movie, a live action movie, be like a bunch of episodes live action or something. Like remaking the classic episodes in live action form. That would be great. Rubber Man was pretty bad. He was made from used condoms, and it's like, this is not funny. Like, come on. Also, another thing I hate, and this reminds me of this shit. When these episodes aired, particularly season 5, 6, and 7, when they aired on television, they would make like a fart noise every time they cursed, which was really funny. And it made the episodes funnier because there was a lot of new jokes in these new seasons that weren't really funny. But the fart noise when they cursed made the episode funnier. It just did something. It was funny. But then the DVDs removed that. So now all these seasons where they started cursing, because they didn't curse in the classic episodes, which was better, but on these DVDs of the new ones where they started cursing, the DVD versions have them cursing, and they removed the funny sound they made or whatever it was when they cursed. So now episodes like Rubber Man and the Star Wars one and stuff, now they're not funny because you guys removed the only things that were funny about it. Those funny noises are what saved those episodes. And because Rubber Man in particular, I remember laughing at it on television because of the sounds they made when they cursed. And I thought, wow, okay, well, those are the only moments that are funny. Because, sometimes it's funnier when you bleep out the curse words in TV shows. If you're old enough to remember this, that's how TV used to be back in the day, guys, where they would beep out the curses. Like, I know standards have changed, but back in the day, that's what it was like, guys. And it was really funny, actually. But now, the character in Rubber Man who curses a lot, now he just curses. And it's just like, that's not funny. And like, cursing is funny, but there's a nuance to it. Multiple Meats, great episode. It's definitely one of the best episodes of the season, other than Fry Legs and maybe the creature from Black Lagoon. Meatwad gets sliced into like 20 different pieces, and the boys get really old, and Meatwad's still singing 101 bottles of beer on the wall, 100 bottles of beer. Love that episode. Monster, fuck, I don't remember what episode that is. I'm sorry. Rabbit Redux. I love this episode because it was so nostalgic, and it felt like the Aqua Teens moved, and it felt like it was like a remake of the pilot, where it was kind of like rebooting Aqua Teen, and it was interesting. I enjoyed it. Maybe I'll do a commentary on that episode in the future because there's so much to talk about with that episode, really. Because I know I'm being brief with it, but Egg Ball, I love this episode. So when they land on this desert, and there's like these creatures, and they put Shake in this giant fucking pinball machine, and there's a giant baby that zaps him with laser beams. Really funny. I know it's weird to describe, but it was good. It was good. Good times. But honestly, season 7 is like a decent season at best. I mean, I honestly, it's like it's falling apart, honestly, by this time. It's starting to get, it's starting to fade. It's fading. So after season 7, or whatever the fuck it was, they changed the name of the series for the first time with Unit Patrol, Aqua Unit Patrol Squad 1. And I wish they kept going with this. They didn't have to keep changing the name of the show, but I honestly think it wasn't meant to be a joke. That was like the excuse they told the fans that was the joke. The truth of why I think they kept changing the name of the show is because the asshole of Adult Swim, Mike Lazo, and Adult Swim in general, the douchebags that run the company, I think they kept threatening Aqua Teen to be canceled because they always cancel their best shows. And Aqua Teen was the funniest and greatest show, so that's why it lasted so long. But they got sick and tired of them, and they were just a pain in the fucking ass, you know. And they changed the name of the show, and that's why every time they made a new season in the final seasons, that's why they had that's my theory. Why they had to keep changing the name, because if you say it's a different show, then then you'll trick the people that run Adult Swim into thinking it's a different show. So Aqua Teen can still stay alive, because I think they wanted to cancel Aqua Teen. Like, they even joked about that in the classic episodes, actually. Like, the episode, the last one, was really supposed to be the actual finale of the series, where all the villains get together to kill the Aqua Teens. And they even had promos on television at the time where they said Aqua Teen is canceled, and that's the final episode. But then the show was so popular, they kept going with it. But anyway, I did love the new intro to Unit Patrol. It was great. And I really wish they kept this new title and have this just be the new name of the show, the new regular name. Not Aqua Teen, you know, whatever, or the other fucking names they named it. The second, there should have been Aqua Teen, there should have been Aqua Unit Patrol Squad 2, Aqua Unit Patrol Squad 3 and 4 and 5, or whatever. Because that ruins the point of calling it 1. That means season 1 of Unit Patrol. Anyway, so they were trying to be creative with this and make them detectives again, kind of like rebooting the Aqua Teens a little bit, but still being the same show, and really using the detective thing more as an angle. Again, this was very clever by the creators to try to trick the Adult Swim people to thinking this is a different show. The Aqua Teens are different now. Now they're actually using the detective gimmick, because when they first aired Aqua Teen back in the day, they told them they had to come up with a plot for the show, otherwise they wouldn't air it. So they basically said that they were detectives and everything, and they didn't stick with that in Aqua Teen. Like, the earliest Aqua Teen episodes, they were detectives, but after like the first 3 episodes, they dropped that for the most part. By the way, a little piece of trivia for you guys. Did you know that Frylock, his name is based off of Sherlock, like Sherlock Holmes? Frylock, Sherlock, and he's a detective, so that's where Frylock gets his name from. This is pretty cool. Like, you got Frylock having an afro here, because, you know, he's black. Well, Shake is not black and he's got an afro, but whatever. Some white people had afros back in the 70s. Okay, this actually has the final season of where the name of the show was still Aqua Teen. So this has the last episodes of original Aqua Teen, title-wise, and then the first season of Unit Patrol here. Unit Patrol was really funny. The best episode they had was The Creditor. And Last Chance for Napkin Lad was really funny, but I think that was after Unit Patrol. Unfortunately, I don't think I can talk much about these episodes because they're not listed here, I don't think. Let's see, they might be. Oh, here we go. Okay, Alan, part 1 and 2. This is when a pink or spiky alien takes over the world. Really funny. It was nostalgic. It kind of felt like it gave me Space Ghost Coast to Coast vibes, which is one of my favorite shows also. Maybe I'll make a video about my Coast to Coast DVDs, guys. Would you like that? Let me know in the comments. It's a great way to start Unit Patrol with Alan, because he was a great and memorable character. And it was a unique concept that really would work maybe in a horror movie? I don't know. Freedom Cobra, good episode. Always like this one. Shit gets the Freedom Cobra tattoo on his body, and then weird shit starts happening and everything. Intervention. I'm trying to remember what the fuck this is. I think it's really funny. I don't remember what it is. Fuck. The Creditor, I already mentioned. Vampirus. Trying to remember, guys. Oh, Last Dance for Napkin Lad. That's what I mentioned earlier. That's a great episode where it's kind of like an action movie where the Aqua Teens keep tricking each other and they all work for different companies. Why Try, I thought was really good. It's like a parody of the iPod, but instead it's a triangle instead of a square, and the whole world gets turned into triangles, and it's like making fun of how people are addicted to their cell phones and stuff. It's good. Jumpy George, again, atrocious title. I don't know what the fuck that episode is, but I have seen every episode, of course, multiple times, so Lasagna, that one's funny. It's with the Sham Wow guy that comes back, and Carl has like a shock collar on his neck. A little too sadistic for my taste, because I find that stuff way too disturbing, but it was funny. It's a funny, good episode, though. All right, so A P Christmas. This is the one I talked to you guys about already, where Shake writes the Christmas song, and the Bible fruits are in the church. It's really funny when he writes the song, and I love the guy in the studio. He's not taking it seriously. He doesn't give a shit about his job. Too funny. The title is gross. I don't get the title. It's not funny. I mean, what the fuck's that about? MCP Pants is not in it, so what's that title all about? Hands on a Hamburger. It's when Dr. Wongburger returns for the third time. The first time he was, well, I don't want to say on this video. The second time he was the tooth. This is the third time where he's a giant fucking hamburger. Funny episode. Good stuff. I'm a Pod is a contender for the worst Aqua Teen episode. The second worst Aqua Teen episode ever, and probably the worst ever, is the one with the monkeys, where they go on the banana planet or whatever. That was atrocious. But this is the second worst episode ever. I'm a Pod is with the frickin' plant that tries to like seduce Shake and have sex with him or something. This episode only had one joke in it that was funny, one line in the whole episode. And for these later episodes, I always try to find these couple of lines to save it. And there's only one line in it that's funny. It's when he mentions Chickenfoot, because they go to the Chickenfoot concert, and the plant villain in the episode is like, "Oh man, I love Chickenfoot. They are so decent." That was funny. That they were so decent. Juggalo. This one's a great episode. This is when Shake has like this angel bothering him, and it forces him to be a good person, otherwise he'll go to hell. And it was funny. Karangula and the Magic Tarantula. Atrocious title. I know what it is, but I can't remember that because the titles are so fucking bad. The Larry Miller hair system is one of the greatest episodes ever. This is a masterpiece. This feels like a classic Aqua Teen episode. This is with Carl watching a video of his life, if his life turned out differently, if he was thin and had a wife and kids, and it was so funny. You gotta watch it. 100. So this is the 100th episode of Aqua Teen, and I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. You'd think, yeah, like it's the 100th episode, right? So we want it to be something special. We want it to be like a great episode, but instead it's really, I don't know. There's a lot of jokes in it that don't land for me, and I didn't really find the whole 100 logo coming alive and attacking them to be very creative or enjoyable, quite honestly. I thought the Scooby-Doo parody was pretty funny, though. That was the best part of the episode. But I also really didn't like that the Aqua Teens were self-aware that this was their 100th episode. I get that they're really famous and all that, but I guess it's kind of like the Looney Tunes, where the Looney Tunes know that they're filming stuff. So whatever, it's Warner Brothers, but it did, I don't really like that idea. And also, if I remember correctly, this is the episode where Shake goes to a meeting and leaves Aqua Teen's house. He goes on a plane, goes into a meeting, and he takes off his suit, quote unquote. And now we have Dana Schneider, or whatever his name is, who's the voice of Shake. And I love him because he's the voice of Shake, and he's hilarious. But I hated that they did that. I just, it bothered me. Like all these years, now you're telling us to accept this idea that there was a guy underneath Shake, and Shake was a costume this entire show. It wasn't funny. It was kind of like a slap in the face. And I know it's me kind of being weird by taking Aqua Teen seriously, but even still, the fact that we grew up with these characters and in the 100th episode you're going to do something like that, I'm not accepting that as an Aqua Teen fan. Like, the concept wasn't atrocious, but the way they did it, I guess, was, I don't know, I didn't like it. Terraphone 3 is really fucking funny. It's live action. It really doesn't have anything to do with Aqua Teen, but it's so damn funny. You gotta watch it. It's kind of like a mini comedy movie. Well, so after Unipatrol, they changed the name of the show to like 3 different titles. Here we have Aqua Teen Plantasim, the second movie. Before this came out, there was a rumor and a confirmed thing that the original plans for the sequel to the Aqua Teen movie was called Aqua Teen Death Fighter. And we always speculated and wondered, wow, what's that about? Death Fighter, Death Fighter, Death Fighter. Never came out, and instead we have this. And I have a lot of mixed feelings about this movie. It has moments that are funny, but I think the comedy is lacking, honestly, in this movie. I enjoyed it, but I feel like I'm being lenient towards it because I'm such a huge fan and I want it to be a great movie, and it honestly is not a great movie. The original movie, I think, is a masterpiece, and this movie it's entertaining, but it it's lacking. I'm gonna make a whole other video where I do a full review of the movie, but it had its moments. I'll say that. It was a treat to see the Aqua Teens return. It was so exciting. So it has its merits. Yeah. But when they made the new episodes that I did a full review on, that I'll leave a link in the description below, the last new season, I thought the new season was funnier than the Plantasim movie. And even the Aqua Dunk Side Pieces season, that was actually funnier than the Plantasim movie also. So I don't know what went on with this. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm trying to remember the different names they named the series that I hated after Unit Patrol. I think it was Aqua something, whatever, Aqua TV Show, and then the final season ever was called like frickin' Aqua Teen Forever. I loved that season, and it was the funniest season since like season 6, honestly. Like the final season, Aqua Teen Forever. I loved the title because it was just the boys really didn't want to cancel the show, and Adult Swim was being douchebags again, of course, traditional, and they wanted to cancel Aqua Teen, and they basically, you know, all these fans thought it was a prank that they were get canceled, and no, they really were going to cancel them. It was not their fault. They didn't want Aqua Teen to end. We didn't want Aqua Teen to end. Aqua Teen is forever because we love them, because there's so much potential to keep going with the boys. They're that amazing. Um, I think they can make a couple more seasons than end Aqua Teen. Like Aqua Teen is forever, but uh, I just felt like when they canceled it, they had 15 seasons and it was it wasn't 20, so it wasn't complete. Like you need to complete the story. Like Aqua Teen was canceled wrongly. It was wrong that it was canceled because they were disrespecting the most talented people that made a show on Adult Swim and created icons, the Aqua Teens. So I loved that title of the final season, Aqua Teen Forever. It was an excellent title. The intro had anime stuff in it that was memorable and relatable, and the title, it made me feel so honored to be an Aqua Teen fan. Aqua Teen Forever. And it was their way of saying, fuck you, Adult Swim, the way they wrote the lyrics at the end. Aqua Teen will never be canceled. Aqua Teen will never be dismantled. Aqua Teen gonna live forever. That's right. Because you guys now know a little bit more about the skeevy horseshit that Adult Swim is run by. Because now we learned about the pay issue with the voice actors, you know. Um, and my opinion about that is that it, that may have been just a mistake at first because Adult Swim when it first aired, it wasn't supposed to be a whole program. It was just a special event. So like, it was just a secret thing that aired at midnight. That if you were late at night or whatever, you saw it when Adult Swim began. So the people voice acting, they weren't being paid that much because this was not supposed to be a big thing. It was just a secret little thing late at night. But that was the early years of Adult Swim. But once it started getting, you know, year 5, 6, when Adult Swim started getting more fanfare and it got this huge fan base, then they should have done the right thing and started paying the voice actors all the money they deserved. Then they should have done the right thing, but they didn't. So that's my opinion. I think it was a mistake at first, and you know that was the era. You got to remember when Adult Swim first aired. It wasn't considered another channel. It was just a secret program block after a Cartoon Network. But then it became something different and bigger as time went on. So, but later on, when it got to year 4 and 5, they should have done the right thing and paid the voice actors. Anyway, so I bought this. This is the complete Aqua Teen Hunger Force series set. And I wish they released separate DVDs for the other series, the final seasons of Aqua Teen, the final 3 seasons, because I want art. I want art. This is what I want. You know, and the DVD stuff. That's what I want. But no, they were lazy. So for the hardcore fans, you have to buy this if you want to watch and own the final 3 seasons of Aqua Teen. So that's fucking pig shit, but whatever. It's still a cool looking box, even though it's, you know, kind of lazy. But still, it also includes the first movie. And yeah, look how weird that is. It says Unit Patrol 1, Season 1. The 1 means Season 1, you know. Well, yeah, Baffler Meal. This box set is named after the original pilot of the Aqua Teens, that when they appeared on Coast to Coast before the original Aqua Teen aired. Well, there you have it, guys. I think I talked about just about everything, right? I love the Aqua Teens. Aqua Teens will live on forever. My name is SuperPat98. I'm the DVD King. Please like and subscribe. Leave me some comments. I would love to hear from my fellow Aqua Teen fans out there and fanatics and the super fans. Tell me if I said anything wrong in this video. I don't think I did. I tried to talk about every single episode in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my commentary and everything, and me just sharing my Aqua Teen memories with you guys over the years. And I mean, this whole video here is such a nostalgia trip. I mean, we're never going to be able to relive these memories again like we first did when they first aired all these episodes. Like, that happened, man. That was a renaissance. So now all we have is our memories. So, you know, just like they said, Aqua Teen is going to live forever. The memories will live on forever. Yes. Number 1 in the hood, G. Thank you for watching.